Yeah, you know, just go with the flow, guys. It's another reaction, but
100%. And yeah, I know some people might go, oh, but look at him, he's showing off, blah blah. Okay, I'll get it. Yeah.
He's a GA.
Richie's nowhere to be seen. Guys, MIA always. Guys, if you like our videos, subscribe, comment, hit that bell notification, support us, guys. It's all for free. Come on, it's like a kid going in a candy store in the free part and just take a lolly. So it's kind of like that, but just, you know, when you take a lolly, just hit the subscribe button. What do you reckon? That's pretty shit, eh?
It's like getting the free lollipop at the barber.
I hope you guys are well. A lot of crazy shit happening. This is a video I wanted to react to, but it's been a couple of days. Obviously, we've been busy, but it's Tucker Carlson. Obviously, you know him. I think he gives it to Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan's really hard to deal with, but it pumps him, man. I really like the way he talks, the way he stands for. I won't agree with everything he says, but there's a lot I do, man. And he's just very outspoken. Doesn't care.
Good.
Yeah, he was on the Piers Morgan channel. I think it was both. Tucker Carlson's got his channel as well. Tucker Carlson Network, and then there's Piers Morgan as well. What do you reckon, man? Do you like Piers Morgan, bro?
Bro, look, he's got his views, obviously, and
Really?
look, honestly,
He's too biased, man.
he's biased, and that's what I'm saying. He's got his views, but I think his bias is more the network he works with.
Yeah, like he's got bosses that he has
So-
to answer to. He can't.
Exactly.
He's not allowed to say certain things.
He's limited. He's limited on
yeah.
what he can say and what he can't say, and anything like that. I think it's too controlled.
He's smart, but
Hey, he's very smart.
he's very smart with
Yeah.
questions. He could trap a lot of people with his questions.
He
He's
knows
really
how to
good at
ask. He knows how to ask the hard questions.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, I hope you're going to like this video. Also, we're on TikTok. We're on Insta. We're pretty small on Insta. So, guys, if you want to follow our lives on TikTok, they're very controversial. I'll have all the links up. It's pretty much just Miztatainment on TikTok as well. All right, you want to start, bro?
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
So, this is Tucker Carlson, and they're talking about Winston Churchill. You know Winston Churchill?
Yeah, I know who Winston Churchill is.
Let's go.
Easiest people in the world come to London and like sell off all your assets and no one can say anything about it. So I'm very distressed. I say that with love. And my only point is, how can you say Churchill saved Great Britain when it's in its current condition?
Well, you could say he certainly saved it at the time. I mean, he saved us from the Nazis, along with America.
Were the Nazis planning to invade?
We couldn't have won it without America, so let's be clear about that. But there's no doubt that, to me, that Winston Churchill will go down as one of the great historical figures, because without his leadership, I genuinely do not think that the Allies would have won that war.
Well, you wouldn't have been in the war without Churchill, but in the first place.
Well, we were in the war without Churchill. We were already in it.
Not to the extent that you became in it.
Well, hang on, he wasn't Prime Minister.
No,
when we
I'm very aware.
Yeah.
I'm very aware. Look, I think Churchill was one of the smartest people, certainly one of the best writers ever to hold any office in any country. I think he was a wonderful artist. I think he had a kind of flair that's irresistible, particularly to Americans. I think Americans like Churchill much more than the Brits do. You kicked him out of office at the end of the war, so
Yeah.
obviously you had
But then we
mixed
brought
feelings
him back.
You brought him back. Here's my problem with Churchill. Again, the current state of Great Britain does not look to me like a country that won a war. It looks like a country that lost a war badly and was degraded. How did that?
What do you say to that?
He's got a point.
It does. It's falling apart.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah. I think it's the most stabbings happen there as well. It's the highest rate of stabbing. There's a stabbing problem there. Not a shooting problem, stabbing problem.
Why?
Immigration? I don't know. I always blame immigration, but
You can't. Yeah.
not always, yeah, but
You can never blame immigration. You can't blame immigration. You just can't.
let's go.
Happened? Why? You're not allowed to ask that because people are like, oh, that's Holocaust denial. I'm not Holocaust denial. That's one thing I would never deny. All these people got murdered. I'm not denying that at all. I'm talking about specifically Great Britain, the country of a lot of my ancestors, looks like it lost a war. How did that happen? I think it's a totally fair question. And anyone who says it's not a fair question is a liar. And I'm not going to be intimidated because I'm part English. So buzz off. What's the answer? And so I don't think that you can.
You can't put it on Churchill.
Well, I don't put it entirely on Churchill.
You can't put any of it in Churchill because
Well, so here's-
actually,
let me
if you look at the 60s, you would say that Britain was absolutely roaring post-war, right? It's
Not
only
really.
it's
Your
a-
manufacturing was dying.
Well,
You were rationing until the 50s. Like, how did this work?
well, because we've just been in the World War.
I'm saying that's an awfully slow recovery for a winning nation. If you won, why did you have rationing for 10 years after? But here's
There's some good points they made there. You know, I was thinking about it today. I was speaking to one of the boys at work. You know, when we're talking about war, when you look at World War II, who really won that? And was it because of the Russians? That's why they won?
It's very interesting because the way the history is written, it's because the Allies got involved. That's why.
But the Russians were the one that
The reason
gave it to them.
The reason Germany lost. This is the way history is written. The reason Germany lost is because the Allies got involved.
But I think
That's the way history is written.
yeah, but I think mainly it's because Russia played a big part in pumping them.
I honestly believe that Germany lost that war out of their own doing. They tried to do too much.
Yeah, but okay.
They split their armies. They occupied parts of Europe like France and Belgium and those
Yeah,
areas.
it got a bit too much.
And then they started to head east.
Okay. Did Japan lose the war? Yeah, they got bombed as well.
Japan,
It's known to say that they've lost, right? Like America won the war, Japan was on the other side, they lost, right?
if you're gonna measure a war victory by how much damage you received in your country, then that's not really a fair indication of winning or losing a war.
But let's just say America became the superpower.
yeah,
Japan lost, bro.
we know Japan lost.
Okay.
We understand that. Just saying, but if you're looking at the level of damage done and that's how you're going to measure a loss,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. This is what doesn't make sense. Did they really lose the war? That was my next question. You know why? All their cars are in all these countries. All the manufacturing, all these. It's all.
Japan's
it's all
thriving.
100%.
If you compare them now
Yeah.
to the powers that won that war, they're thriving.
Yeah,
compared to
they
those
haven't
powers.
lost any of their culture.
But you got to remember,
They
as
haven't.
well,
It's Japan.
But you gotta-
really, when you look at now, 2024
Yeah.
after World War II,
Yep.
does it look like they lost the war?
Yeah, but you got to remember, economics 101, bro. The best thing that can happen to a country economically is a war because it creates jobs, it pumps more money into the economy, and it starts to thrive again. That's literally what it's about. If you create more jobs in your country, your more money is going to be pumped through the economy. It's going to expand, and it's healthy growth. It's not inflation.
So that's what I was thinking about. This guy.
real problem, to be much more specific, about Churchill, who is someone I really would love to have met. I mean, I think he's an extraordinary person and an incredibly charming person, the most charming. I don't know how you could say to the English people, it is essential that your sons go die to preserve the territorial integrity of Poland, and then hand Poland to Stalin, of all people. I don't know how you could be in an alliance with Stalin, the greatest mass murderer in history. I don't know how Roosevelt could be in an alliance with Stalin. Once you're in an alliance with Stalin, you lose all moral authority.
So what do you do about
You are
it?
not allowed to lecture me
All right.
about anything if you're in a military alliance with Joseph Stalin,
Let me take you back
who
then.
murdered all the
Let me make you president.
tens of millions of people.
All right, let me make you president of the United States at the time. What else do you do about Adolf Hitler, given that it was crystal clear his ambition was not going to stop with Poland? He wanted to wage a world war. He wanted to seize.
He wanted to invade the Soviet
endless
Union,
countries.
which he wanted to invade the Soviet Union. I'm very anti-Hitler. I've always been anti-Hitler. He killed a lot of people and who didn't deserve to die, and destroyed his country. So I'm certainly not defending Hitler. So preemptively to anyone who says I am,
Well, what would you have done about it?
shut up. I would act as any president has a moral obligation to act in what he believes is the best interest of his country. Period. Not in the interests of humanity, the world, of his own country. These are countries, they're nation states.
Isn't that what America did after Pearl Harbor? You couldn't just sit back and.
I mean, we're getting into this is super complicated. Look, I'm not against fighting World War II. I'm not. I'm only saying specifically with reference to Churchill. You can't go to your country, your countrymen, and say, go ahead and die to preserve the dignity of Polish territorial integrity, of the dignity of Poland, the nation of Poland, and then give it to Stalin, and it languishes under an iron curtain, and people are murdered and rounded up and tortured to death for 40 years.
But that wasn't what Churchill did.
Yes, it is what Churchill did.
Because he came in after the war started.
No. At Tehran, Potsdam, Yalta, they made a deal to hand Eastern Europe, which he had brought his country to war to protect, to Stalin. There's no getting around the fact.
This is why I like him. He says a lot of stuff that people don't know. That's something I didn't know, man.
Yeah, and
That's very interesting. Because he's hailed as a hero. I'm not going to say anything about it, but, you know,
yeah.
you're actually giving Poland, where you sent your soldiers there from your country to die, and then you just give it up to the Soviet Union afterwards, knowing that Stalin was
To a tyrant,
yeah.
basically.
So that doesn't make sense.
That Stalin is maybe the worst person in all human history, but certainly in the running, up there with Hitler. I mean, you could kill more people than Hitler. I mean, they're all evil.
I don't disagree.
So you're in a military alliance with Joseph Stalin? You shut the fuck up. You have no right to lecture me about anything, okay? That's where we start. And that's been sort of a lie over. The Roosevelt administration armed Stalin in Lend-Lease. Tell me how that's defensible. It's not defensible.
So that's the question I was asking.
But to hand Poland, which you went to war to protect,
I hear you.
to Stalin, like, why doesn't someone answer that question? They're like, oh, we had no choice. Really?
But what my question though is,
Then you're a failed leader.
But what would you have done about Hitler?
Yeah, I had
Well, I
to
would
throw
have
that in.
opposed
eh?
him, of course.
How?
I certainly wouldn't arm Stalin. I certainly
So what would you have done?
murdering Christians and
No, but what would you have done?
Soviet.
I'm genuinely
I
curious.
have no idea what I would have done. I would have been opposed to him. I am opposed to him. I mean, it's not. So I love this conversation. So it's like there's no way to reassess anything without getting right to. So you're for Hitler, right? Or you would just let
No, I'm
Hitler
not saying that
rampage
at all.
through Europe? Or
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just curious. If you don't do what Churchill did, I'm curious what you think we should have
You
done.
act on behalf of your country. That's your job.
Yeah, I
now,
think
if
you
you're
did.
a theologian, well, you certainly didn't. Look at it. Have you been there?
Well, my country.
Yes.
Of course, I live in my country.
Oh, okay, right. So you know. No one looked after Great Britain. It ran the world. Now it's degraded. Now you have Sadiq Khan like giving the finger to Christianity in your capital city. It's like, what? This is the seat of Protestantism globally. This is, your king is the head of my church. And anyway, whatever. So it's been a total, there's been conquest, they're vanquished, and they lack self-respect. So you have to look to their leaders and say, what decisions did they make that got us to this point? And I really feel this strongly because I think it's a big deal.
Do you agree to what he says? Sadiq Khan is a bit of a loser.
I don't know nothing about Sadiq Khan.
He's the mayor of London.
Okay.
He's an idiot.
I remember when he became
Yeah,
mayor.
he's
Yeah.
a clown. And ever since he's been in power, like the thing's just gone downhill. Crime's through the roof there.
How the fuck did he become mayor?
He's very woke. He's very woke. He's an idiot.
Interesting.
Yeah. We'll play a bit more of this,
Historically,
and then
we're
we'll
going to
play
look
the
back.
next
I don't think
segment. Oh, well.
England becoming what it's become. They don't even call it England anymore. I don't think you're allowed to call it England.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, you can. You're not really allowed. You have to throw Wales in there. I don't think you can look at this just as like the decline of a formerly great power. You have to see it in broader terms. This is the end of something really great and important that we should have defended and we didn't.
I would say the biggest problem that Britain's had, but specifically England, is in the 50s we had a population of about 50 million people. All the infrastructure, the National Health Service, which was great at the time it was conceived and great for many years, now just simply cannot cope with a population that's just about 70 million and is predicted to go in the next 5-6 years up by another few million. And that's just net zero migration up. And I look at that and I think that successive governments, Conservative, Labour, now for 30 years, have completely failed to protect the country from the impact of massively increasing the population size. And they've not been able to adapt to that. And now what you have is increasing resentment from people in the country to the fact that all the public services are crumbling before their eyes, and they are blaming it all on the extra number of people who've come in, which is partly to blame, but probably not wholly to blame. In other words, it almost gives the government an excuse, which is we have a big more population, rather than actually successive governments have been pretty poor, pretty ineffective.
I guess. I mean, that's the technocratic.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because the whole problem isn't just immigration. Immigrants are hard workers. You see it here.
Yeah.
The guys that are born here don't want to work, and the ones that come from overseas are doing like 8 jobs.
But it also creates problems.
Yeah, it does.
It creates massive
It does,
problems.
but it's not. That's not just the only problem. But
What are the other problems?
to just blame immigration,
You can't
that
just
are countries. Yeah,
No.
so that's what I'm saying. So you can't just blame immigration, saying because there's a X amount of people coming in, this is why the country's falling apart. There's other policies that are failing as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like dumping money here and operations, if you get what I mean, and
Supporting here and
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're not fixing up your like ghetto areas as well. There's crime coming from within the country, not just from outside. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. In the past, what have they done to keep that at bay?
What do you mean?
What have they done pre-World War II? What have they done to keep it at bay?
Like
Because they were the superpower before World War II. You got to remember that.
Yeah, they were.
They were the superpower. So how did they go from that? How did they fall so far post-World War?
Like after World War,
Yeah. How did they fall so far?
policies. Or you think it's immigration?
It's not just immigration. There's more to
Or
it.
it's a number of things.
There's
It's
more
a bit
to
of
it.
immigration. It's a bit of this. It's a bit of
When you align yourself with certain-
corruption.
yeah. So when you align yourself with certain other powers, right? There's got to be a line you draw in the sand and go, okay, this is if we're willing to contribute to this, we need something in return. You're the superpower. So, for example, if you're the superpower, you always take back more than what you give.
So because they
These
lost,
guys-
they
yeah.
lost the superpower title. That was another way of their downfall as
But
well.
at the time,
Didn't have that pull.
yeah, but at that time, they were the superpower. They were
But
the
post
superpower.
World War, they weren't.
Straight after.
Pretty much.
Okay. So what happened during the war for them to fall from grace?
I don't know.
That's where. Was it really worth it for him to enter that war?
Yeah,
That's
and that's what
the
Tucker's trying
question.
to say. Yeah.
That's he's trying to lead him to that.
Yeah, he's trying to lead that. Like you got to look after your own nation. Yeah, you're right.
If you're a superpower and you're gonna go, okay, I'm gonna go join this war, but you're a superpower. Why do you need to involve yourself like that?
Yeah,
Maybe if you do want to involve yourself, you arm the side that you believe is going to be more beneficial for you,
yeah.
but you don't enter the war yourself.
Yeah, so that's what kind of.
And the reason why they did that was preemptive. So they believed that Hitler was coming for him. Once he did what he had to do wherever he did it, they believed that it was coming for him.
Yeah. He's
But
taking over the whole world and shit.
regardless, you think he's coming? No worries. Arm his. Look at the states, what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They're not entering physically themselves.
No, they're just arming other groups
They're arming other groups, and
to do their dirty work.
they're stopping it from there.
Yeah.
And I think America learnt from Britain. That's what I believe.
But America's falling apart.
No, but they learned that when it came to war,
Yeah.
Not to
how to work
enter-
it. Yeah,
yeah.
not just
That's
totally
right.
destroy yourself.
yeah,
Explanation for it. And I think everything you've said is true. By the way, there was great resentment in the 1970s, and it was ruthlessly put down.
Yes.
Ruthlessly put down. It's all.
Well, Margaret
drunk-
Thatcher came along and she took decisive action. My point is, it comes down to leadership.
No, it comes down to self-respect. Do you believe that your country represents something worth preserving?
But I think Thatcher did that. You see, when she went to war,
She didn't. She
Well, I
like
think
took on the unions. Okay, great, that's great. But nobody has reestablished since the end of World War II, 1945, in the minds of the British people, you are unique in the world. You're the indigenous population of this island. You have something great to offer the world. This is a seat of Protestant Christianity. Your culture, your language, your views, your attitudes, your customs, your traditions, those are all worth defending because they're great. That's the basis of any country. In Saudi Arabia, they feel that way about their country. This is Saudi Arabia. We're the most important country in Islam. You know, we're the leader of the Arab world, which they are. They're very proud of it. Great. I'm not a Muslim or an Arab, not from the Middle East. I come here, they're like, great, so glad to have you. By the way, you're not allowed to like change the laws here because you're not Saudi. Great Britain lacked that self-respect. The United States increasingly lacks that self-respect and that belief that their way of doing things is a good way and worth fighting for. If you don't have that, then it's just like a massive home invasion where you're not willing to stand up and defend your wife and children. And so you get enslaved. Like in the
I
end,
do think
that's the rule of the world.
Well, I certainly think Britain.
What do you reckon of that?
Look, honestly, that doesn't make any sense.
Why is that?
I'll tell you why. Because if you're allowing immigration into your country, if you're allowing that migration, and you're born in that country, you're automatically from that land.
Yeah.
You've allowed these people in, right? These people have had offspring. Sorry, they've had children in the country, and now, like for us, for example, I'm born in Australia.
Yeah, same.
I'm classed as Australian. So why does that give a white Australian more rights than me when it comes to being involved in politics, for example?
I think he meant that, like, when you look at other countries, like, even if you go to Russia, you're Russian. Like he said, Saudi, you're Saudi. Like, people from outside, like, say people come and live there. They still don't get, like, they're like, listen, you can't change it. This is how it is, and that's how it's going to be. You don't like it, go.
They don't get, yeah, okay. They don't get citizenship.
Japan's like that.
They don't get
Yeah.
citizenship. Correct?
Japan's like that as well.
Okay.
China.
Yeah.
There's a lot of countries where
It's true, 100%. But
don't change nothing.
So
it comes across like racism.
no, but it's a condition of entry to that country.
Yeah.
Right? With the Western world, it's not. You come into the country, you have children there, your children are now English, for example.
But let's say you've come from that country, right? Let's say you've come from one of our countries, and now you've got your parents have brought that culture, belief, that whole Eastern system into a Western country now. Now me, you, 100 others gathered together, and now we want to start changing it.
But
We want to implement our thing, saying, well, you know what, Australia's like this, and this is how we do it. So now, even if they did have a culture, I think that's what Tucker's trying to say, that, like, even when they did have a culture, it's kind of changing now. Do you know what I mean? Like, they haven't, like, if you go to, like, Saudi, Iran, anywhere, right? UAE.
Yeah.
Like, you go there, like, say I go to one of these countries and I go, no, you know, you shouldn't be doing this. This is how it should be. What's the first thing you're going to get? You're probably going to get slapped, and if not, they're going to be like, no, you either go by these rules and that's it.
Yeah,
don't
but
change anything.
You can't compare a country that's ruled by religious law compared to
Secular.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can't compare it.
I think
You cannot compare the
I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah, okay. That's true. And if they were to, for example, stand with, okay, it's we're ruling this country according to Christianity, or according to the Anglican, I believe. We were saying you can't compare a religious-run country
with secular. Yeah, that's right.
So if they were to run by for example, a Christian law,
which they used to be.
but here's the thing: people will reconsider migrating there. Only the people that they would like to be there would migrate.
I think it's going to be very hard now because now you have third, fourth generation. You know what I mean?
Now it's
that have come with the
hard.
culture.
No.
Now it's
100%. Like for example,
good luck.
Why don't many Christians, for example, migrate to a country that's run by Sharia law?
You'd be surprised. Not complete Sharia law, but like a lot of foreigners in UAE.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not in the numbers that come to a secular run country.
That's because a lot
not
of
in
the
the same
secular run countries have destroyed those poor. No, it's the truth. But like, if you look at
I understand.
Lebanon, Libya, Iraq, like these countries have been like war torn.
Yes.
But if you look at how many Emiratis you see living here.
Okay. For example, you had the World War, you had the Ottoman Empire, which was dismantled, split up, divided, all that stuff. That created a bit of migration into the West, into Europe. If, for example, we're talking Britain in specific now, right?
Yeah.
If they were to run their country according to their religion,
Yeah.
then those people from the Middle East, for example, would go and look for another country to migrate to. Like, for example, Brazil,
Yeah.
Mexico,
Yeah.
Argentina.
Well, yeah, because they've fled from their country because of the war. So they're going to go
Exactly.
somewhere to get get a better chance. But then England's not as strong as it would be because the immigration helps as well because a lot of the immigrants have built the country.
It does. However, the war should have helped them economically if it wasn't for the migration. People got to understand when you bring in more supply than the demand you've got, there's a problem.
Yeah, there is.
So what happens? They work harder. They're cheaper to maintain. So to pay becomes.
They don't really complain.
You could pay an immigrant less money than what you could pay a citizen of your own
Of
country.
course, because he's just grateful.
Okay, exactly. So these people come into the country. Your people go sit at home. Now the government, right, has an obligation to look after their citizens while the migrants are actually earning the money and building the country, right? There's nothing that the others couldn't do, and they would be paying taxes and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to think of. I think of it economically, and that's why I say the best thing that can happen to a country economically is war because it creates opportunities. But when you create those opportunities, it's for the people that are within the country. If you create opportunities and bring external and outsource the work,
Especially with the country that you've gone to war with.
there's no point because you know why? Those people have families overseas. That money is now leaking and going
That way, yeah. That's what they're doing in England.
Do you
pretty much.
understand? So it's getting spent within the country, yeah, but your population's bigger now.
Yeah.
Do you
And there's not
understand?
much money a lot of the money's being
It's yeah.
sent out and
Yes.
not being spent in the country.
Yes. So your economy's not going to grow.
Has lost its way and it's lost its pride and it's lost its ability to show the world we matter, and we've become increasingly
But your
irrelevant.
values, your ideas, freedom of discourse. Like I see it now, you're putting people in prison, literally in prison for Facebook posts, and it's like, obviously that's authoritarian, but it's deeper than that. It's like, no, this is England. This is the country that gave free speech to the United States. This is where it all came from. This is where habeas corpus came from. The Magna Carta was signed here. This is Western civilization. We talk about Western civilization. What is it? It's England, actually. And so if you allow it to become what it is now, Western civilization ends. I don't think that's overstating it at all. If Saudi Arabia fell today and became Buddhist or something, it would have a massive effect on the entire region. Like the holy sites are here, right? It's much more significant merely than its landmass.
Let me ask you about...
And the same was true for your country. It was hugely significant for us in the U.S. We're your descendants. And we did what you did, but with like much more land and resources. So I'm very distressed about it. So people want to tell me Churchill's an incredible guy. Really? Well, why didn't he save Western civilization? He didn't even save Poland.
He did.
What did he
He
save?
did save Western
How?
civilization.
How?
He defeated...
Pumped him. But you know what?
This guy is...
At that time, no one was to know. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like you can always look back in hindsight and go, oh, but he fucked up because you know he did 1, 2, 3.
But let's just say he did fuck up. If you're not going to admit that a person did stuff up and you're still saying he was a great guy, should you still say he's a great guy?
No, you can't. Like
It's hard, though, but
it's
I know where Tucker's coming
it's very
from.
hard because if you look at you can't disregard all the good he's done either. You can't. You just can't disregard. If this is the problem, yeah.
But the problem is you might do a lot good, but one big fuck up
exactly.
outweighs all the good.
It has bigger repercussions.
Does.
It has massive repercussions.
It's like me trying to deceive. We're friends, right?
Yeah.
We're sweet all day, every day.
Yeah.
I end up stealing $100 off you.
It's ruined the friendship.
100%.
Yeah.
And let's say we've been good for like 15 years.
Okay. My concern, I'll tell you what my concern is. Let's say Churchill did that, right? And it's whatever he did, he made his mistakes.
Yeah,
Okay. Who ruled after Churchill?
I don't have a clue, man.
Why was it allowed to continue?
Yeah, well, that's it.
Do you understand?
Just started going downhill.
It's a problem because if you're not going to learn from previous leaders, then all you're going to do is continue on that stupid path.
That's with a lot of countries. Australia,
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, but America's controlled by their allies. I truly believe Australia is not independent in how they run their
No
country.
way. We got
right?
I reckon we got no free speech here.
And if
Still
you
love the country,
if
just
you,
don't.
if you look at England right now, we come under the monarch system, right? If you look at England now, and you truly believe Australia is going to be great under that system because obviously it's governed by that system,
Yeah.
right? You're delusional. That's our future. England, what's happening now, is our future.
Guys, be prepared for it. We'll run this a little bit more than...
The Nazis.
But I know he helped defeat the Nazis,
Well,
with his friend Stalin.
The Nazis wanted the whole world to be speaking
I'm not
German.
defending the Nazis. I'm just saying, where is Western civilization? What did he preserve? Where is it? I don't know where it is.
Churchill died the year before I was born. Oh, the same year, actually.
He died in 63, I think.
65.
65.
I think about a month before I was born. It was a natural succession. But the...
But the question is, like, where's the victory? I don't understand. Like, everyone wants to yell at you for not loving Churchill. Okay,
Well, hang on, we're
show me
seven-
the victory.
Well, yeah, but we're
no, it's a
80
theoretical victory.
we're
Oh,
80
he beat Hitler. Great. I'm totally for beating Hitler.
Yeah, but
I'm totally
you
for
can't
beating
say
Hitler.
80 years on that Churchill didn't win the war, because look at what's happened since.
But the war is not just like an engagement in Poland or even in downtown Berlin. The war is the effort to save Western civilization. And I agree with you that Hitler was a grave threat to Western civilization, as Dietrich Bonhoeffer. But that was lost. So where's the victory?
Yeah, but it wasn't lost.
Really? Really? Where's it? Where's Western civilization thriving?
No, what has happened is you've seen Britain's power in the world diminishing ever since. That is true.
What is Western civilization?
Well, that's an interesting question. I would say that, for example, I would say one of the reasons that, well, the three reasons Trump...
It's Christianity is what it is.
Well, that's, okay. I know you believe that strongly.
Well, what? Okay,
I'm
if
a
it's not
Catholic. I'm a
Christianity...
Catholic. You're preaching to the choir, literally.
No, but if it's not Christianity, what is it? It's Christianity. That's what it is. It's the political legacy of Christianity. And
It's very interesting.
You reckon Western civilization is Christianity?
No, I don't believe that. No, I don't think it is. Look at Western civilization today. There's a lot of things that go against Christianity. There's all these movements that are happening which do not align with Christian beliefs.
Yeah. Like I'd say Eastern European is very Christian. Eastern European, like Romanians, Russians.
Yes,
That Balkan
Agreed.
region,
Agreed.
Croatian, Massos,
absolutely. But
Serbians,
Western,
Arab Christians. You know what I mean?
there's another angle you can look at this.
I think it's a very, it's very different. Like when you look at Eastern countries that are Christian to Western civilization Christian, very different, man. Very, very different.
Yeah, much different.
Very strict. Eastern European, like especially Eastern European Christians, very strict Christians.
That word strict, it should never apply to when it comes to a belief system.
Yeah, fair enough. So like I think
Because you either follow that belief system or you don't. There's
I
no
think-
such thing as strict and loose and weak.
yeah. I think Eastern, like the Eastern, like Christianity's Eastern civilization of Christianity, not the Western, like America and that. They're more like law abiding to their faith,
Yeah.
to the Bible,
Yep,
to what Christian values more. You know what I mean?
100%.
I think Western's a bit more
This is interesting.
loose.
Who benefited the most from World War II?
Who benefited the most?
Which two or maybe three countries benefited the most from World War II?
That were made after.
One was made after. The two were
Two were
current.
made after.
Two,
Saudi Arabia,
correct.
Israel.
That wasn't that post World War One, Saudi Arabia.
No, they had the mandates. Yeah, no. I don't think so. Because when did Lebanon and that get made? When did they become from states to countries?
Yeah, okay.
When did Jordan and this?
We'll talk about states instead, okay?
Okay.
Because there were countries that were involved in the war that benefited.
America?
America number one and Russia number two,
Yeah.
right? Those two were the main beneficiaries. But then
Okay,
there was,
like in that way, yeah.
and then there was a people that benefited I would say more than any of these two, and that was the new established state of Israel.
Yeah, the state of Israel. Yeah.
Okay, so there.
So these three were the
Okay,
ones that came out after.
and the sacrifice was England. Their power, their superpower, their superiority was sacrificed for that.
Wow. Leave a comment, guys.
And that's dying. And I'm not saying Churchill was its assassin. I'm just saying like he didn't save it because it's dying. And
Well, can we agree he saved us from the Nazis?
I guess, but I'm saying it was a Pyrrhic victory. I mean, beating the Nazis is always good. You want to beat the Nazis, okay? I'm for beating the Nazis, to be clear. The Nazis were a threat to Western civilization. They're a threat to Christianity. But if Churchill saved it, where is it?
Well, I think that's a perfectly legitimate question.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And they call me a Holocaust denier for bringing that up.
I don't call you that.
Yeah,
No, but I'm just saying, like, I got so attacked. Rah, 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 rah.
He said
What's that got to do with Holocaust denial?
But hang on, he said just before that, he said the Nazis were a threat to Christianity.
Hitler was a Christian.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. I'm not pro-Nazi. Don't get me wrong.
No, we don't like
I'm
Hitler at all.
totally
100%.
anti-Nazi, 100%.
Remember, anti-Nazi, guys. Yeah.
But how
He didn't
was-
come after Christians.
How was how were the Nazis a threat to Christianity? That's what I don't understand.
How were the Nazis a threat to Christianity? That's interesting.
If anybody has any answers to that, I would like to know, honestly. If you could throw a comment up and just explain
Was
it.
Hitler a threat to Christianity?
Because I can't see him being a threat to Christianity. Regardless, he's the biggest scumbag of the earth. He's bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Everything he did, or what he did during that time, was just inhumane. It was terrible. It never should ever be repeated. But that statement, I don't know. I can't stand with that statement. That statement's incorrect to me. Unless you could show me otherwise, guys, please put a comment. I'd like to see it. I'd like to know.
Okay.
Enlighten me.
That's not only a legitimate question, it's the question. And I'm very upset about it because I think Western civilization is the best thing this world has ever produced.
Can I ask you about something that happened big in the American election, which we're now wrestling with in our country? Wokeism, the woke mind virus. It seemed that Trump's core of common sense prevailed, that a lot of people rejected and repudiated all the woke bullshit. That advert, Kamala's for they, them, Trump's for you, was incredibly effective. What do you feel about that? Do you think woke is dead as a concept, or is it dying, or are people going to try and revive it? I'm asking because two things have happened in the last few days where I thought, well, it's not dead yet. One was the bishop lecturing Trump.
My bishop,
Your bishop.
Marianne
right?
Edgar Budd.
I mean, I watched that. I thought she really hasn't got the memo here, which is we don't want to see a bishop do that in that way.
So she is the Bishop of Washington in the Episcopal Church, which is the Church of England in the United States. So this is like, I know you're Catholic, but it's like, that is directly from Great Britain. And that is a measure of what's happened to your country, if I can say. And I personally, since that's my church, I think it's probably a good thing for people to see what it's really like. That this is not a Christian organization at all. This is a very angry, hateful organization run by like dreadfully unhappy middle-aged lesbians, which is exactly what it is. So only by showing that in public can it ever be for.
I like Tucker Carlson. He's actually pretty good. Well said, Tuck.
He doesn't
well
give a
said.
fuck, eh?
No, he doesn't.
0 fuck.
I think I'm going to check up. Can you just check up now if he suffers? He said he suffered from something. I don't know if he's autistic or not.
Really?
Yeah. Check it up. Just type in Tucker Carlson autism.
Tucker Carlson autism.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know. I might be wrong, but he's very, very straight up.
Tucker Carlson
Autism.
autism.
Yeah. Type it in. He's got something where because he does not care. Is that your thing doing that rumble? No. Can you hear that?
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know.
Somewhere outside. Hang on.
So look this up, guys. Give us a comment on that. What just Tucker Carlson said. No, that was pretty funny, eh? That's fucking hilarious, bro.
No, nothing comes up.
There was something he had.
Here, condition. We'll type in condition and see what it is.
He's very smart, man. Very, very smart. Pretty sure it was something. I'm gonna get it. I will keep playing it. I've heard it before. He's said it before. We'll look at it. This thing's about to end.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway.
To reform. So I actually thought it was a hopeful thing that the rest of America, not just we Episcopalians, could see what it's actually like, which is repulsive and totally non-Christian. It's pagan. But I think wokeism, look, it's just one manifestation of something that has been at work in this world since Eden, which is evil. It's purely destructive. It exists under a very dishonest guise, which is like to help and enrich and uplift people. It does none of that. It's a purely destructive force designed to wreck institutions that were actually humane and divide people from each other along the lines of race and sex. And it's just evil, and we should say that. Of course, it'll live on in some other manifestation because evil in the world, will always be with us.
One of the reasons I think it got repudiated in such an emphatic way at the election in America was that Trump very cleverly went on a lot of shows, podcasts, YouTubers, Joe Rogan, shows like that, which his son Barron apparently was steering him to do because he recognized that people of his age, this is what they're getting their news from. You've now gone fully into this world. I've done the same.
Both of us got here involuntarily.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we sort of...
It's so great,
we got exited out of linear world, yeah.
Yes.
How do you find? I mean, do you feel liberated? How do you feel about it?
Totally. I mean, I just feel I'm 55. We're very close to the same age, and I feel
It's pretty good
that
for
all
55.
the really great things in my life have begun as disasters. That it's never, you're never on vacation where you reach enlightenment. Sitting on the beach in St. Bart's. It's always some tragedy. You get cancer, or someone you love dies, you get fired from your job. That's when your life, at least in my experience, changes for the better. So I'm so grateful for having been fired as often as I have. And this last one,
Trying to work out which of us has lost more jobs.
Is that Fox?
It's quite a close wrong thing.
Was that his Fox gig?
Yeah,
that
he
he
got
had?
fired. Yeah. He was speaking up like this, man.
Yeah.
And it worked out better for him. I think PBD offered him like 100 million to come over to Miztatainment.
Interesting.
Yeah, he didn't. So he made his own network. He's got a massive name. He's big. It's Tucker Carlson. What did you think of that? I wouldn't even say the whole video. I just wanted to just
very, very
show you some
interesting-
points, but
Very interesting.
he's very straight down the line, man.
Yeah. I don't mind people like that. Even
No,
if
I like
don't-
people like
Even
that.
if I don't agree with the things they say, it's actually good to know where they stand, though.
Yeah, 100%.
know
There's
what
he's not hiding anything.
It's just black and white.
Yeah, just black and white. That's
Yeah.
the best type of people to talk to.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
ones that are just pretty much black and white.
100%. That's what you want. Honestly, because it's educational.
Yeah. Not just that. If you know someone's black and white, you're going to respect them
100%.
because they speak their mind.
Because-
They're not hiding anything. There's no motive in the back. They're not like playing. They're not a fence sitter.
It creates an understanding
Yeah, of course.
and a mutual respect.
He draws a line, they automatically
Yeah,
respect
100%.
it. It's
Yeah.
like you demand respect. It's like the way you speak, you don't have to say it. You just demand respect.
Yeah.
Not in a like where the person's scared. It's just like,
No, it's respect. It's the true, real respect, not fear.
guys, leave a comment on what you think about what we just reacted to. More reactions coming up, guys. Like I always say, subscribe. Rolly, you owe me $1,000 still. And hey, guess what? I'm gonna make this short.
He told me, he said, well, why am I getting called out on your
I'll tell you what else. I'm not going to say any names, but I'm going to say names. Okay. So this guy Rolly, right? Let's just make his name up, Rolly. I'm at work, office jockey now. This guy, big guy, Polynesian bloke, thought he could rumble with me. So I go, okay. So I end up rumbling with him. All that muscle, all that big mass.
That wasn't Rolly.
Nothing. I just held him and I go, are you serious?
Is his name Rolly?
well, we're naming him Rolly. Let's just say he's a character. His name's Rolly, the guy that owes me $1,000. So anyway, he grabs me. So, you know, we're just like rumbling a bit, and all I hear is like that. And I go, is that all you got? I go, are you for real? So I pinned him down.
I can't. I don't believe that.
You can ask him.
You're talking about a different bloke.
Maybe.
I know who you're talking about.
That too. Him too. Guys, we're going to bounce. Like I always say, subscribe, comment. Guys, please, comment on what you think we should react to as well. Get us in there. We'll probably...
Yeah, give us a bit more ideas, man. Like,
There's going to be more
if there's
videos coming
things
up.
that you want to watch, just throw it out there. Let us know.
Also, we're going to probably start getting out there as well now in the public. That's a good one. We're going to mix up the pods now. We're just talking about it. So it's going to be better and better, guys.
we got some plans for 2025.
We've got some plans, and hopefully just support, guys.
Yep.
Your support means a lot. You got anything to say?
I'm good. Men on top.
Guys, Wolfpack out.
Wolfpack, yeah.